Hello everyone and welcome to another video with me, Umber Rays, and today, I have my JP account up for a global video. I know. Basically, I have to go live streaming in a little bit, so kind of just have this available for now. But it doesn't really matter because today we're talking about global news, and really, the global news I can show off even on my JP account, and there's some things I want to show off and talk about on my JP account. So if you haven't heard the news on Global this week, well, here comes Tifa and Vincent, two characters that I think a lot of people have been waiting for a long time to show up. They have been kind of pushed out a long way. If you look at where they appeared on the JP side, it was, before Kid Rydia, it was before, it was just early. I think it's late compared to what it should be on the Global side, but I'm not super familiar with the timeline. Doesn't really matter. The question is, are either of these units worth your hard-earned lapis or hard-bought lapis or tickets? And the question is kind of yes, kind of no. So let's take a look at, kind of what's the big deal here. Because Tifa today actually got enhancements on the JP side, and if you want to check that out, check out my JP video that just came out before this one. But even if we can talk about, let's first talk about the two units that come that are lower rank, or, lower star. Anyway, Barrett and Kate Sith. Now, both of these units are actually really good to get your hands on now, because they are long-term valuable. Both Barrett and Kate Sith were used as bonus units in future Mog Kings on the JP side, and it'll be the same with Global. Almost 99% sure of it. Of course, there's 1% that, something horrible changes and I'm wrong, but feel pretty good about the odds on this one. Barrett and Kate Sith ended up being bonus units for multiple Final Fantasy 7 events to come into the future. So, for Aerith as well as the Zack events, those events use the same base 3 and 4 star on their banners. So getting them now is pretty good. Also, Barrett's gun is pretty damn decent, and Barrett himself is a pretty decent 4-star chainer. Kate Sith kind of has a really nice kill everyone in arena ability, providing that the, other team in arena is not just immune. So yeah, both of the 3 and 4 star are actually pretty good for some reason, or for some reasons. Weird way of saying that. But let's talk about Vincent and Tifa, because Vincent and Tifa were two units when they came out on the JP side I went pretty damn hard for last year. I really hate my phone right now. It's vibrating for no reason. Tifa and Vincent are like, Final Fantasy VII is just kind of my favorite Final Fantasy. Well, it pretty much is my favorite Final Fantasy. And I just kind of want all the Final Fantasy VII units. It's that hard nostalgia drug. So I got them, and I ended up getting 4 of each. So I was able to really experiment with both of them. Tifa is a natural dual-wield unit, and she has some true dual-wield in her kit. Fists are her big thing, and her TMR is a materia attack up with fists or knuckles. Not exactly the strongest materia in the game. It's very conditional. There aren't a super high amount of great fist users at the time on the JP side, and so her TMR is good, mainly for her. Same with her super TMR. 170 attack with limit burst per turn. Knuckle. It's not true dual wield, which is good because, Tifa is a dual wield unit naturally. And other than that, really mainly just good for her. Even now on the JP side, it's pretty much just good for her. It's not a bad statted weapon at all. When true dual wield becomes a thing and Tifa gets her enhancements, she becomes true dual wield as well. So that's just really good for her. But in general, her TMR and super TMR are just good for her. Her kit, on the other hand, is basically good for, chaining with Holy Explosion Chainer. She's a water elemental character. She can imbue water on her own attacks, but she doesn't start with that, so you can play around with her elemental properties. You can also, she also can dish out some really good chain damage, even in the true dual wield era. She is a particularly pretty strong dual wield unit, and into the future with true dual wield, she will become more powerful. She's just not incredibly insane, pre-testing her enhancements, mind you. Now, taking a look at Vincent, on the other hand, Vincent... I should also mention Tifa gets a global exclusive buff. Her 7th Heaven chaining ability does get a global increase, and that's basically her big chaining ability. So that's, I mean, really good for Tifa. It will make her better in the long run. Or Final Heaven? Did I say 7th Heaven? It's a really good chaining ability. It becomes better in the future, so the global upgrade here is worth it. Now, looking at Vincent, on the other hand, Vincent is kind of the opposite unit in terms of usefulness. He is a unit that really chains only with himself. It doesn't look like there is really a huge amount. There's a global upgrade on Lucrecia's Lament. His cooldown that boosts attack and defense, boosts physical damage, beast and machine killers, and boosts limit burst fill rate, but that was never Vincent's problem. Vincent's problem was very simply that he didn't have chaining partners with anyone other than himself. And it sounds like Vincent's still going to have that exact same problem. And that makes Vincent incredibly hard to recommend on the kit side. However, TMR and Super TMR wise is quite the opposite. Super TMR is death penalty, 175 attack, true dual hand gun. And this gun is great in the future. It is absolutely fantastic for Regina, one of the best chain finishers, as well as limit burst chainers in the entire game. This girl. But yeah, she is absolutely amazing with Vincent's Super TMR, as you can see. She can dish out a ton of damage. So if you don't have CG Jake's gun, this is a really good Super TMR gun to potentially try to work towards. Also, Vincent's TMR is just kind of ridiculous, and it's still ridiculous. It is a negative 10% spirit, but a boost of 60% attack with no condition to that. That is just strong for every physical attacker in the entire game that uses the attack-based stat. On the JP side, it was minus 30% for spirit. Now it's only down to minus 10%. I think that this is a really stupid thing that Gummy did, because it shows that the global side is power creeping pretty damn hard on the JP side for what and when it came out. Like, this feels even strong comparatively to how far Final Fantasy VII was pushed back for this event. Yeah, I mean, on the JP side, the 30% spirit felt like a trade-off. Only 10% spirit off is really not that much of a trade-off. This is just one of the best attack materials in the entire game. Getting your hands on it would feel really good, and it works too towards that Super TMR gun. So in general, I'd say that both the units are pretty strong. If nothing else, while pulling for the 4 and 3 star units will be long-term good for your account, because you'll be able to use those 4 and 3 stars into the future. However, I would say that both the Zack Yuffie banner as well as the Aerith and Red 13 banners are both better in terms of units, and TMRs and Super TMRs into the future doesn't mean you should necessarily not try at least a little bit on this banner for some bonus units and hope you get some 5 stars too. So with that being said, I wish all of you the best of luck pulling on it. The Vault of Hidden Treasures will come back for a bit, so hopefully some nice stuff. But yeah, that's basically kind of the overview of it. There's some good stuff here. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. See you next time. I gotta go live stream.